What's up, you guys? So this video is kind of like a mashup of a bunch of clips I recorded between yesterday and today. Yesterday I got the drone. I did the unboxing on my other channel, Brian's Garage. And then I wanted to make a separate video, just, so the unboxing wouldn't be like an hour long. I wanted to make a separate video of like my first experiences with it. So basically in this video, I do like the initial setup, the calibration, and play with some of the settings, and then I take it on some flights. Even though it was really windy outside, it was roughly like 20-mile-an-hour winds with like 30-mile-an-hour gusts. I looked it up. I said it in the video. I think I said like 20-mile-an-hour gusts, but I actually looked it up online. It was like between like 28 and 33-mile-an-hour gusts. So I took it outside and I flew it. So watch the video, see what happens. Thanks, guys. Alright, guys, so I've got the drone charging, and as you can see, it's only on the second light, so it's not even at 50% yet, which is unfortunate because I am so anxious to get this thing going. But I am going to see if it'll power up and I can do like the updates and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my phone in here. This is weird how this works. It just literally kind of just mushes onto your phone. So I've got the iPhone 11 Pro, or what is it? Yeah, I've got the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and you can see it fits. It holds it. I was worried if I had a case on here, I really don't think it would work. So bare phone, it works. Case, it might not work. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Just enough room. And then plug this into the controller. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the app. It says DJI Fly. I'm going to leave it plugged in and see what happens. Oh, maybe not. Let's try it now. Yep. Okay, so it did turn on. I don't know if you just saw that. It's got a light flashing down here. I'm gonna hit connect aircraft. So it says aircraft activation required. Agree. Activate. Okay, so just kind of waiting on the controller, and it activated it, I guess. I'm gonna hit go fly, but I'm not gonna fly. So it says no GPS signal. I'm in my house, so I didn't expect to have a GPS signal. So it shows it's right there. I can turn it. GPS signal weak. Switch to altitude mode. Attitude mode. So we have the three dots here. So I'm going to check for updates on the aircraft firmware. It says firmware is up to date, so that's cool. Fly safe database, let's check for updates on that. That's up to date. Cool. Transmission. Camera 16:9. We'll format the memory card. So it seems to be reading it. It says 118.5 out of 119.2 gigabytes available. So I think theoretically that's going to work. Advanced shooting settings, so grid line, histogram, overexposure warning, anti-flicker, video subtitles, cache when recording, max video cache capacity. Okay, the cache. I was gonna say delete after 2 gigabytes. What? Okay, so maybe we'll go to like 4. Control. We got flight mode. We've got metric, imperial. I'm in Michigan, so I'm gonna go with imperial. Gimbal. So gimbal mode, follow, and FPV. A lot of people might not understand that. Follow mode is where the gimbal's super smooth. You know, you turn and it's got that nice, you know, pan and tilt. You know, it's really smooth. FPV mode, basically the gimbal follows the aircraft. So you know, it's if you were wearing like some kind of like virtual reality goggles or something along those lines, you would go with FPV. But if you're doing, you know, photos or video, you definitely want follow mode. Advanced gimbal settings. So you can change the speed and the smoothness, you know, like when you adjust it, have it look really quick or, you know, nice and slow and smooth, depending on the scenery. You know, sports and stuff like that, action, you're going to want quick. But if you're wanting those dramatic and cinematic or, you know, landscape shots of like the sunrise or anything, you're going to want it nice and slow and smooth. So I'm going to leave it on stock. Right now pitch is at 30, speed is at 30, smoothness is at 5. Gimbal calibration. I'm going to hit auto. So you can't tell it on the camera because obviously the camera's above, but the gimbal's kind of just, you know, panning around. You can kind of see the background on here moving. Calibration successful. So here I am. Hello. Go back to this. Stick mode, mode 2. So there's different modes. Oh, remote controller calibration. Okay. So then there's a flight tutorial. That's really cool. That's smart. I recommend. I've watched so many videos. I truthfully, as dumb as this sounds, I feel like I'm a pro at flying. I've never flown one of these yet, so I don't know how good I am. I'm not just gonna go out there and, you know, throw it up. Well, you know, set it on the ground and take off and go flying. I'm not gonna fly it over a body of water right off the bat. So this is really cool. A beginner flight tutorial. Take off in an open, uncrowded area. Turn on phone volume to the prompts. Ensure the battery and the level of aircraft controller are at least 40%. So I'm not gonna do it right now. Hit confirm. And I mean, that's really it for now. Battery temperature, that's cool. Why is it showing in Celsius? Come on now. So, yep, it's going to want to calibrate the compass. Advanced safety settings. Find my drone. Oh, that's cool. It's just using the motors, that's crazy. If you lose it, you know, if you're out in a field or something, and I mean, this thing is tiny, like, this would be really easy to lose, you know, if it unfortunately falls down somewhere or, you know, it runs out of battery and it just has to do like an emergency landing. I really want to fly this thing, but I'm not going to fly it yet. The battery's way too low. So, unfortunately, got to charge it back up. And then I will be right, it's going to be hours for me, but it's going to be a split second for you right here. Wow, that is crazy. So I accidentally did that. Well, not accidentally, but I wanted to see what would happen. I pulled down on the sticks. Or inside.
Take off.
You hear it says take off, and then when I hit up, whew, it just hovers, man. That is crazy. So I wanted to verify all my batteries are fully charged, and like I was saying in the unboxing, the charging apparatus thing here has a full-size USB port. The micro right here is to plug these in and charge them. And then I was like, okay, so the full-size one, can I use this like a battery bank to charge other things? Like, you know, such as the controller, you know, my GoPro, my phone even. And I just checked, and that is an absolute yes. As you see here, the GoPro shows it's charging, and the cord is plugged in. Sorry, I'm working in a really tight spot here. But the GoPro is plugged in right here. You unplug it. See, it goes back to battery. And it goes back to charging. Obviously, that's not going to help the drone batteries when you're out and about, but say, you know, you got 3 fully charged batteries, but you forgot to plug your controller in. Oops. What do? Well, you sacrifice one of your batteries, plug that bad boy in. So, just a little cool feature I wanted to point out. Alright, so here I found a little park, kind of like a beach in a neighborhood not far from us. Took it out for, this was probably like my 3rd flight maybe. And I don't want to say I was great, you know, I was just kind of still getting the feel for it. This was like the first time I kind of flew it far away from me, and it wasn't even far. It was, I mean, maybe 100 feet or so, but still, like, it's really weird. Like I said before, I have not flown one of these before, so it was really weird, like, flying it away from me and just basically relying on the camera. That's like a bad habit I found of myself, is I'm too focused on the drone versus looking at the camera, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but that makes it hard for me to like trust, you know, that it's gonna go fly and, you know, not hit a tree or a power line or anything like that. So this is kind of overview of the little neighborhood I was at. And like I said, it was, well, I don't think I said this, but it was dark here. It was like 7 o'clock at night. Sun goes down. It was actually, yeah, about 7:15. Sun goes down right around 7, so the footage isn't great. And I'm using everything on like complete auto mode in the camera. I'm not adjusting any settings, so I figured I would just kind of like dub over and talk over this because understandably the drone doesn't record audio. That would just be horrible to hear. But right down here I did a little picture-in-picture of a screen recording from my phone. And like I said, if I didn't mention it in this video, this is the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And everything seemed to be going really smooth. I tried to link them up to be the exact same, but I think there is like a millisecond difference in the timing, but I got them as best I could. There's really no delay. If it looks like there is from the phone recording, there's really not. And I think screen recording made it slightly glitchy. Like there's a few times where you see the frame rate kind of get like skippy, but in person it's not like that. I think it's just, you know, there's so much going on in the phone. Or I might be completely wrong. It might actually do that, and I just didn't notice. So there's also that. And you can see this battery's at like, looks like 90%. When I started flying, this one was at 100, so it was fully charged. And I'm just sitting here like, I know this is a boring flight. I apologize. Everyone usually gets these super scenic areas, but there's really not too much around here like that. And I don't want to take it super far, but there's me. There's my little blue car. I left that thing running, man, so when I got home, so when I get back in it, the heat was on, man. It was freezing out here. My fingers were like ice cubes. And I know, make comments about the shorts. I'm wearing shorts. I don't get cold like that. It's like my hands and my face gets cold. I've worn shorts my entire life in the winter. It never bothers me. Jeans never fit me right either. As you can see, I'm kind of a stocky big guy, so. Trying to see if I could get like a cool like pan around my car, but I couldn't get it to work. So I put it in sport mode, which is like full user control. Like it doesn't just hover and stuff like that, which I didn't know at first. I knew it went faster, but I thought, it would hover at the same altitude and stuff. It does not. So when I started going, like it would go up, depending on how fast you were going, or it would start dropping down. And there's quite a few power lines I noticed in this little park, so, and obviously a lot of trees, as you can see. So I'm sitting here trying to like, get used to it. Like it's coming at me now, so the controls are reversed essentially. And I was not used to it like not hovering on its own. They really make these things like in normal mode, like that's not sport. They really make these things like foolproof as to like flying, I guess, in a sense. I don't want to say it's super, see, it's weird. Like I don't want to say it's super easy because it's not, but at the same time, like anybody could go out there and get this thing hovering in the air and take some sweet pictures and videos. It's really more of like the flying and moving aspect that takes the skill, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, putting the thing in auto and just recording video or taking pictures, you're not going to get, sorry, I got these pop-ups on my phone for those sleeping apps and stuff on my Apple Watch. But like you're not going to get the most optimized pictures and videos by just throwing it in auto and recording or snapping pictures. So there's definitely a bit of a learning curve here. And you guys are basically going to be with me for the ride because, I'm going to record all kinds of content and stuff with it. So I hope one day to be licensed, and obviously I'll have like my Mini so I can just throw it up, in small spaces if I need to. And see, I put it in sport mode here. I was just trying to see like the speed. But I want to have my Mini, and then I want to have like a full 4K drone like the Mavic 2 Pro for like the best video.
Landing.
So now we'll get back to the video here. All right, you guys. So I took this thing on its maiden voyage. So this thing charges the batteries really, really slow. I had 2 in the charging dock, and then the 1 in this thing. And this one was only flashing 2 lights, so it was only roughly 50% charged. Within roughly an hour, I'd say, the dock had 1 battery fully charged, maybe a little bit more than an hour. And then it was already on the second battery, and this was still only on 2 lights. So, like you saw, like I updated, calibrated it, and, started everything up on the app and the controller to make sure everything worked. And it did. It's roughly 15 degrees outside, maybe 20 degrees. Actually, let's see. Yeah, about 21 degrees, so the real feel is probably in the single digits. Like, it's blistering cold out there. And there's gusts of wind, like 20 plus mile an hour gusts, which isn't a lot, but for something this tiny, I was like, there's no way. Nope, not even gonna risk it. I don't want to ruin this thing when I just got it. So, I'm sitting there on the couch, I'm like, oh, man, it's supposed to start warming up, but it's gonna rain every day. So I'm like, let me just go out in the backyard. We've got a pretty small yard. I'm like, let me just go out there, I'll fly it like yay high and just, kind of see what it's like, get used to the controls and see what the video footage is like outside and, take a few pictures and whatnot. Maybe go a little bit higher or something, but, let me just get it out there and see what it's like, that way. Because when I got it in the house, I'm worried about the ceilings and the walls and the dogs and, bumping into stuff. So I get it out there and I had it, like off my porch. So I'd say probably about maybe a foot or so over my head. and I just kind of got it flying there, and it's pretty much it's sitting there, you know, and it's going like this, and it made me so nervous. I'm like, man, one big gust of wind and it's just gonna take it. But this thing surprised the hell out of me. It handled the wind. Now granted, like, yeah, like it is, you know, it's moving around and you can hear it fighting and adjusting, but it handled it great. Set it down for a minute and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try one. I'm just gonna go like straight up with it. I wanted to get like an aerial shot over my house just to see what it looked like. So I just wanted to try it. You know, I had the camera in like automatic. I took it up. I didn't go really high. Like I had, you know, my whole yard and the house and, you know, part of the neighbor's yards in the shot. So it was really high, but it wasn't anywhere near what this thing could go. Like I should actually have paid attention to the controller. It would have showed me, but this thing is so awesome. I can't imagine, like, this thing is so cool and just tiny and versatile. I can't imagine, because I wanted this one because I want the Mavic Pro 2. But this is my first drone. I've never flown one. So I did not want to spend, you know, upwards of $2 grand on a drone and have no idea what I was doing. You know, I wanted some experience. It's still really tricky getting used to the controls. The way the controller works, I'll show you from here. This goes up and down like your altitude. This makes me like, and this is probably just a me thing, but like I hit this one, the other one, to turn, but that's not how it goes. The left stick is up and down, and then it turns left and right. The right stick basically drives the thing. Like, go forward, it tilts it forward, moves forward. Go back, it tilts it backwards. Left, it tilts it left. Right, it tilts it right. You know, it moves to the right. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, and it's, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is kind of awkward. I've got a big phone. I feel like a smaller phone, I want to say a smaller phone would be better because it would fit in my hands better. I have big hands too, so that's saying something. But the bigger screen on the bigger phone is what I prefer. So I guess that's kind of a, you know, like really personal preference there. I actually want to buy the little mount. It's like a chunk of aluminum that goes in here, but it's got like a tablet mount, so it sits up here. But basically, the whole controller is covered by the tablet, but, you know, it's going to fit in your hands like a normal controller, which I really like. So I'm probably going to order that. I have a full-size iPad, which I think might be a little bit overkill, so I'll probably find like a really used mini and use that. This little thing right here for the gimbal to look up and down. Right now, whatever the stock speeds were is too quick for me, because like it's like up, down, you know, like I want that like smooth, you know, cinematic shot. Aside from that though, like I have zero complaints about the thing. Granted, I've only flown it twice in the house and then twice outside, but I love this thing. Like I cannot stress enough. I paid for this with my own money. It's literally financed. I used a firm, which is why I ordered straight from DJI. The whole point of that was just like I paid for this, you know, DJI didn't send me this. No company sent me this to review. If companies do want to send me stuff, slide in my messages. My email's on my YouTube page. But so this is like unbiased and whatnot. I love this thing. I have zero complaints. It's extremely light. You don't have to register it, which makes it more of a hobbyist drone than the other ones, because the other ones you have to register them, and it's just, which isn't really a big deal. Don't get me wrong, you know, if you're like, yeah, I don't know about this one, I want the bigger one, don't let that stop you. That's, you know, just, it's an extra step that you have to take basically, and I think it's a yearly, don't quote me on this because I am so new to this stuff. I think registering it, you might have to do like a yearly thing or something for it, but anyways, this one is 249 grams. It's awesome. I love it. I guess the only complaint I have would be the actual hardware that it comes with. The battery charger. I don't like the fact that it charges one battery at a time. That would be my only complaint, honestly. Nope, I'm sorry, I lied. I do have a complaint. These cords for your phone suck. So my phone pretty much maxes this thing out. So for me to unplug this, I have to like get the phone out of this side and then like unplug this one, so this one will slip through with the phone so I can actually grab it to undo it. Like they literally, like you can see how much slack you get. So you think, well, why don't you just connect your lightning? Well, you can't because it's a USB, it's a micro USB to lightning. So just, they make cords that are longer, obviously, because like if I get an iPad, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to buy the longer cord anyways. So aside from that, I keep saying it, but this thing is awesome, you guys. If you're thinking about it or you're on the fence and you're like me, I promise you, you're gonna love this thing. It's, I don't want to say it's cheap because it's not cheap. You know, 500 bucks, 400 bucks. For me, that's a lot of money. For a lot of people, that's a lot of money. You know, I'm not one of these big YouTubers that's got like 200,000 subscribers and, you know, making $5 grand a month off it. You know, this is expensive. You know, you can go to like Walmart or Target or Amazon and get them for like, you know, 50 bucks, but they're not going to be of this quality. The app is, I'm in a few Facebook groups with them, and some people love them, but I think that's because they haven't actually had a quality one, and they deal with issues left and right. You know, they fly away, they randomly drop out of the sky. Like, you can't go around your house because you'll lose communication with it. The camera qualities are garbage. So if you want something that's very user-friendly, high quality, and takes beautiful photos and videos, this is your way to go. So 400 bucks. You know, if you affirm, you don't even need good credit. Like, my credit's garbage. I'm not gonna lie to you. My credit's garbage. They approved me. I've used them a couple times before, so obviously that helped. But like, if you just got this with the Fly More package, it's like 40 bucks a month if you want to pay just the monthly payment. So, but yeah, this thing is sweet. The only thing I would wish that it came with was some kind of like protector for these wings. Other than that, I love it. You guys will love it. If you're thinking about it, just do it. This is my first drone. I've never even flown the cheap ones off Amazon or from Walmart or anything. This is my literal first flying remote control device, and I love it. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you liked any of this stuff. You'll be seeing a lot of stuff from that, because as soon as it gets decent outside, I am taking that thing to the beach, the parks, in the city, you know, like getting an overshot of the city and stuff. I can't wait. I'm super excited. Thank you guys.